Let's take a look at some videos.
I need to ask millennials, why are your kids so awful? And more importantly, why do you think it's so funny?
Don't give a baby an iPad.
Did I hurt the millennials' feelings? I'm so sorry.
Teachers are quitting their jobs because your kids are awful and you guys are enablers.
I'ma just say this. I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. What world do we live in? Your 5-year-old daughters are asking to listen to Pound Town.
My most controversial take is that I think that millennials are worse parents than boomers.
In some ways they are, because at least boomers, they've equip their children with some resilience.
You can't even go to a damn library without hearing the muffled sound of Coco Melon.
I hate Coco Melon. These types of shows will make your child dumb if they have been exposed to it by nursery or whatever, and they want to watch it. I will not make them watch it until I know they've developed, academically. You can have child A, and child A is just so willing to learn and he can read and write, and child B, he just doesn't want to learn. But you do have to be a little bit more stricter with child B and a little bit more push and provide rewards so you can push that child to do something that he doesn't inherently want to do. I don't know if I could call it lazy, unwilling, disagreeable character types, but it can be tricky. But I can imagine if you're just completely soft with this child, they will never learn anything, because why would they?
Blasting through sticky residue.
Bless your heart. You see, the thing is millennials are raising Gen Alpha, and we did not come to play. They're gonna be ruthless.
Girl, your kids can't even spell ruthless.
What do you do when your toddler can't have what they want? The key in this situation is not to just say no. It's best to explain why they can't have what they want, and then always offer an alternative that they can have.
Oh, hell no.
People always say, don't say no to kids because that triggers them. So instead of saying no or stop, I'm going to say, hey, do that 4 more times.
You read it right. I said it. Don't tell your kids no without explaining why.
I was wondering, does Mum ever say no to Zach?
That's not nice.
It's okay to tell your children no, you can't have that right now. That's it. It's less complicated, and also children will grow up, like they just won't know what no means.
Give it back to her.
I don't agree with the yelling. I don't agree with the intimidation.
Come on!
I don't agree with the screaming. I think that's unacceptable.
How can you play if you can't see it? It's Jen's way or no way.
This made me laugh.
Me, when you spit in that elderly woman's face, imagine how she feels. When you yank that woman's hair and make her scalp bleed, it makes mummy sad. Puppet. Sorry about her. That will heal over in no time. And you don't want to play, just say no. You don't slam Priscilla's head in an oven. Okay, Puppet? Do you know what he said to me the other day? It's gonna make you laugh. He turned to me and almost rotated his head 180 degrees and he said, "You'll burn, bitch. You'll burn in hell." You're so funny. He plays. He's quick. He's so quick, my Timmy. He's 2, but you know what they say, terrible 2s. Timmy, put that knife down, Papa. It's soft play right now.
That is so funny.
And he had a knife to my throat. No gouging. No gouging. Timmy, you are on the live wires, my darling, on the train tracks. I'm so sorry. Timmy, there is a train coming, Papa. Are you ready? Making Mummy a little bit sad now. The 411 is coming. Off the tracks for Mummy, and we're going to go get a piece of fudge for you.
This video here describes perfectly a parent who decided to try soft parenting and how we made them feel burnt out. It had a negative impact on their family.
If you're trying to look for content to be a better parent in America, you're going to find content that is solely focused tunnel vision on the child, which is going to result in, what the child's going to learn, fun activities, how you should be talking to the child, how you should be responding, what one-on-one time you're going to have, their emotions. But what you won't find is the health of the whole family and looking at family and parenting as the big picture, because ultimately it is the big picture, because the mom and dad are the ones parenting the little child. So all people need to be taken into account. What I got out of this content when I became a mom, more or less, is that I should just always be giving more to my child. Kind of like not paying attention to my needs, how I feel. It doesn't matter if I don't like doing something, just keep doing it because it's all about the child. And also how I spoke to the child, because that's very popular in our culture, like how to respond, how to handle their emotions, how to answer them, how to talk. So with all of this, I felt like I was working very hard to be the best mom I could be, but all the while my kids' behavior was not improving. If anything, it was getting worse. And I just realized that when you only focus on the kid and you don't look at the big picture, like mom's feelings or dad's feelings, or if we're all enjoying our time, or if I'm parenting authentically, that things get out of balance. Not just me, but also my kids. And once I shifted that perspective, I cannot tell you how beautiful our life has gotten as a family. If you're
your wife and your husband, you should have a life at night. That means children should have a routine. They should be in bed, and you train them at a young age to avoid impacting your relationship in such a negative way.
You're laying on the floor to get your child off to sleep, touching their fingers, and then you're in bed with Ryan. I mean, you've got to laugh because it's so, if you don't, you'll cry because the pair of you are absolutely knackered.
How do you expect to teach your children the difference between right and wrong? The kids misbehave, you know it's wrong, yet you don't teach them it.
I just get sick of hearing myself yell all the time. I get sick of hearing my own voice.
You're lazy, the pair of you.
Stacey, I've got a routine that I wanted to put up on the pantry door, if that's okay.
Okay.
Soft parents, soft kids. Virtually no exceptions. Tough parents, tough kids. Again, virtually no exceptions. I've seen this for 10 years with more than 200 kids. The ones with parents who are tough and disciplined but supportive, they're the kids who excel. Be tough on your kids. They might not openly tell you this, but deep down they want that tough love. They want to be told the truth, and they want to be held accountable. Sometimes you need to let them sink a little bit, or they'll never learn how to swim.
I love this video so much.
Do you think there's a link between the rise of behavioral disorders in children and the changes in society, or is it just a case that we are now more aware?
Oh, no, we're definitely destabilizing kids. There's no doubt about that. Women, too. Women are way more unhappy than they were 30 years ago. There's a huge body of epidemiological data on depression and anxiety among women. And women are far more unhappy than they were in the early 1960s. And there's all sorts of reasons for that. And children, well, all we do to our children, pretty much of what we do to our children is confuse them in relationship to their identity, and even in relationship to what identity is. We tell our children, and we're compelled to tell them this now, well, your identity is just what you feel you are at this moment. It's like, well, what do you mean by feel exactly? Well, we really haven't thought that through, because all we're doing is feeling.
If you can get a kid who's disagreeable socialized, that person can be quite the creature, you know, because they're very forward moving in their nature and very difficult to stop. But if you don't get them successfully domesticated, tamed, roughly speaking, by the time they're 4, their peers reject them. And that's a big problem, because your job as a parent is to make your child socially desirable by the age of 4. Like you want to burn that into your brain, because people don't know that. That's your job. And here's why. It's easy if you think about it carefully. So you imagine you've got a 3-year-old child, so sort of halfway through that initial period of socialization, and you take that child out in public. Okay, what do you want for the child? Who cares about you? What do you want from for the child? You want the child to be able to interact with other children and adults so that the children are welcoming and smile and want to play with him or her, and so the adults are happy to see the child and treat him or her properly. And if your child's a horrible little monster because you're afraid of disciplining them, or you don't know how to do that properly, then what they're going to do is they're going to experience nothing but rejection from other children and false smiles from other parents and adults.
Breathe in with me. Let's just take deep breaths. It's okay. There's a lot of people here in this store. Can I touch you? Is that okay? It's okay to feel overwhelmed. You're ready to get up now? Yeah? Oh, no. It's okay. It's okay. We can take your time. I know it's really hard.
You can teach your child that exploring and having fun, it's about time and place. So you can do that when you go to the park or a forest.
No, they don't matter. You just worry about your emotions. That's what's important. We're in this together. I know it's tough. I know it's difficult. Take your time. Just breathe in with me. I will be here for you to support you when you're ready to get up. We will get up together, and I won't ever leave your side.
A lot of people are becoming extreme. Whatever ideology they attach themselves to, they feel the need to just look through the extreme lens. This is why it's important to hold your children accountable. Actually, children are not like inherently like sweet and kind. No, they have to be socialized into being civilized.
Well, I know I've certainly seen enough. Enough is enough. I'm on my way to help.
Millennial Parenting Part 2.
Is the fear and anxiety coming up inside your body? Are you experiencing a sensory overload? Do you feel safe and secure? Do I have your consent to pick you up? Can I hold you? It's just so much going on around you. It's just, sometimes it's really scary. Here, take the iPad to help you to regulate yourself. Can you take deep breaths with me? Would it make you feel better if I lay down on the ground with you? Excuse me, I'm trying to provide a safe space for him. I know, it's just so much going on. Do I have your consent to pick you up? Can I hold you now? Wait, let me give you reassurance that you'll be safe.
But if you are parenting like this all the time, it's going to produce fragile, weak children. It's not good to kind of like overthink and sit the child down. You feeling like this today? Oh, and this, I'm like, that's going to actually cause them to grow up, to overthink and super analyze everything to the point where it can actually probably drive them insane.
Prepared for embarrassment.
The Harmony family eat out often.
It's very embarrassing taking them out in public.
Listen, you need to eat.
I'm eating chicken. Honey, I don't want you to get hurt with it.
Hey, you're open.
It's your yellow.
When you're in a restaurant with people and your child is just, bringing all the products down from the shelves and so on, like, what is wrong with you? Honestly, I'm not going to tell them straight away. I have to wait like 5 seconds before I can approach them because that might hinder their progress later and I wouldn't want them to feel rejected. That is an insane approach. Definitely, I would tell my child, no, you can't do that. You can't behave like that. Those are products in the shelf. It's not our restaurant or cafe, whatever you are, and we conduct ourselves in a respectful manner. Of course, you still have to expect children to, depending on which age, to talk loudly sometimes, laugh, but I think there's nothing wrong with correcting them and saying, shh, we can just hear our voice here. Like, let's just, and it really does produce just a much more likable children.
I need everybody else in my generation to promise that we are not going to raise iPad children. Please. I just saw a TikTok from some millennial, and she was like, here's a message to Gen Z. You might make fun of us, but watch out. We're raising the next generation, and they're going to eat you up. Your kids can't read, okay? You're raising Gen Alpha. They're bizarre and terribly behaved. Y'all bred iPad children. You have been shoving media and screens in these kids' faces since birth. They probably have no imagination because their brain hasn't actually been forced to come up with any original thought. Gen Z, please, when we are older, don't give your kids iPads at the dinner table.
They're hindering the child's progress to self-regulate their emotion because every time they sad, they have to watch something, or they have to look. No. It's okay for them to be bored, for them to deal with this emotion. But when you are somewhere in a restaurant and your children have iPads, that's your lazy parent. That's how I view it. I've seen, like, for example, I take my children swimming and you'll see the parent over there sitting down with the older child. The child maybe is like, let's just say 8 years old and is literally watching TikToks. He won't be able to focus properly, read something, have a real experience. It's okay to sit there and be bored sometimes.
I love you.
No way.
She stuck the middle finger. Y'all, I was raised by grandparents, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all. I had an attitude. I had anger issues growing up, but I have never raised my hand to my grandmother. I have never stuck the middle finger at my grandmother, and I never would. I respect her too much to do that. I don't know what's happening to a lot of these kids in this generation. I think it's that gentle parenting stuff. That shit don't work. That shit don't work. I obviously don't believe in putting your hands on kids or hitting kids, but you should discipline them. But dude, these kids now don't even know how privileged they are. How much they have it easier than a lot of us back then. My mom would have ripped me a new one. I would have had no hair if I would have done some shit like that. And she would have embarrassed me in front of everybody. I probably would have got smacked in my mouth so hard my glasses would have fell off. That's crazy. She probably would have knocked my gap. I would have been like Krishan with no teeth. Dude, that's crazy.
Okay, shut up. I'm trying to record. I hate my parents. They are dumb.
I definitely, when I was younger, used to be heavily liberalized, and yeah, I'm so glad I escaped that way of thinking. Yeah, that is so disrespectful to do that to your mom. But again, girls, they can be insane, like because of the emotional imbalance and so on. So many stories out there, and you know, just like even looking back on my childhood, what I must have put my mom through and my stepfather, looking back, like, I'm so glad that he held me accountable, and he would shout at me like, don't you dare speak to your mom like that and stuff. This is why it is really important to have a strong father figure at home and male authority. Now, I know my stepfather has never laid a finger on me, but I remember like me thinking I'm traumatized and, you know, victim, like when you're that age, because he shouted at me. The victimhood personality types are so draining, guys. I can't even tell you how draining they are. Like on TikTok, you know, just wanting to be a victim all the time, seeing this mother like complaining about how hard, you know, having a baby, because she won't like go to sleep or anything. She has to be on her 24/7. Therefore the mother can't wash dishes, she can't clean, her house is okay. Get a thing that you hold your baby with. We all did that, you know. Oh, I can't, you know, my breasts are too big and I just feel like it's a burden on me. Okay, there's women in Africa, Nigeria right now with, you know, bigger, beautiful profile, upper profile, and you see their baby on top of them and they just wrap with the scarf or whatever. So like, what is your excuse? And we have it so easy. We have cars, we have you know, machines to help us like blend vegetables, fruits. Like, come on, people are so lazy nowadays. Let's take a look at some examples of what lazy and bad parenting looks like.
Wow, I was blindsided with the corporal punishment. This speaks volumes. Everything I've seen up until now makes complete sense.
Spanking will never solve anything. It's an outdated, ineffective practice. In that moment when he's done something, the compliance is pain. The damaging part of it is that it won't build a bridge between you both. But actually what it does is break the relationship. And it will teach this one that every time he's angry or he don't get his own way or nobody else is compliant with what he wants, he then becomes destructive himself.
For 2 hours, Miley fought. And I looked at Tammy and thought, my word, she wants them to look perfect.
Nothing's good enough. Nothing is ever good enough for her.
You put it out. I want it to look like Mommy.
So there's Mum and Miley arguing about this white jumper. And Dad finally comes home and I'm thinking, that's it. Dad's going to put a stop to this.
Morning.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Sean. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's going on here, Miley?
But he doesn't. He makes it worse.
These kids are going to run amok.
I know.
If you don't find it in yourself to actually understand the importance of these kids doing as they're told, when I go, you are back to square one. They need you.
I gotta take a moment.
No moment. No moment right now.
I need a moment.
No moment right now.
I feel I'm being attacked.
No, you're not being attacked. The insecurity of yourself right now feels like you're being attacked because I'm asking you to be accountable for your behavior that's having an impact with those children. What you're giving them right now is you giving up.
I am so over the cult of trauma. The cult of trauma is other mental health professionals and mental health enthusiasts on social media who assign everything to a trauma response. The allure in labeling everything as a trauma response is that you don't actually have to think, was it something else? Is it possible that it actually just has to do with your temperament? Is it possible that it has to do with biology or a chemical imbalance? Is it something that has to do with the fact that, hey man, life is hard, relationships are unfair, and people can be cruel? That does not mean that every time you encounter hardship, you are traumatized.
Attack words they use, these words like misogynistic and homophobic and racist, all these words are just attack. They're weapons. They're weapons. Yes. And they're weaponized so that you don't have an opinion on certain subjects.
Breastfeeding is so hard, exhausting, and painful. With my first, I breastfed for a little over a month and I just couldn't really do it anymore. And with my second, I was gonna try to breastfeed for 3 months, but he is lactose intolerant and soy milk intolerant, and I just couldn't cut all those things out of my diet, so I only was able to breastfeed him for about 2 weeks.
Why does nobody talk about how hard breastfeeding is? I was told this lie that it would just come naturally and easy.
And I was scared. Why is breastfeeding so hard now? And it's supposed to be this natural.
Moms, if you breastfeed, it's really fucking hard. I'm overstimulated. I don't want to do it anymore.
Everyone's a victim now. For every little thing, like, really, you're not doing anything great. It's not a miracle that you're breastfeeding.
Don't pressure me to breastfeed. I don't mind the question. I mind that if I say no, you then try to convince me why I should do it.
Breastfeeding is so hard, and it definitely gets talked about way more than it used to.
So here I am, I'm in the car of a very busy parking lot with, you know, my body exposed and trying to cover up, but this is the part, like, I never hear anyone talk about this. I'm sad. I'm missing moments with my toddler right now, and I'm missing out on the fun.
We don't give money, we don't like charities, we don't buy raffle tickets.
A Financial Times analysis of Gallup data found American Gen Z women are 30 percentage points more liberal than their male counterparts. Women aged 18 to 29 take more progressive positions.
In America, they did research on this, and they found that on the basis, men tend to be less liberal. And that was interesting because I've seen this being actualized in real life.
Oh, hey, up here.
I've also been exposed to a situation where the wife is obviously liberalized, so she just gets them out to breastfeed her baby. Her partner literally went in front of her to cover her while he was talking to this guy he was talking to, basically. So I'll never forget that, you know. If you're quite analytical and you notice these things and you're just self-aware in general and you don't forget, these stories will impact you. I've seen like the girls, like, you know, basically on Instagram, they had public accounts and they're breastfeeding their baby and they get their situation out for everyone to see. The guy is not even religious, their partner. He's not even like, he doesn't care for religion like that, and that is his right. He's what you call a classical liberal. He's like, take that down. This is embarrassing.
Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
I've been gentle parenting for the last couple of years, and today was one of the hardest days. I was trembling, holding back my tears, sweating out of frustration, anger. It took all of me to stick to gentle parenting.
A lot of people who take this extreme version of gentle, soft parenting onward, it does drain them. But also, I do believe these people need to start moving away from thinking through victimhood lens. Because you'll always be a victim. You had it hard as a millennial, and I completely get that. Some of us were hit, some of us were dismissed. Some millennials grow up with like actual trauma and so on. But I don't think it's okay to go the extreme soft way where you're like affirming the tantrums, where you're like, breathe with me. No, it's okay to put them on a step. That's not going to cause abandonment issues. If anything, that's going to teach them certain patterns lead to certain consequences. And take responsibility, take accountability for your life. And I do have to say, even though I've critiqued all of this, it is never too late to decide, you know what, I've done this the completely wrong way. It is time to get my life on track. It is time to get my, you know, family home on track. I'm going to take a year off, which means I don't want to socialize with my friends, and I'm going to sort my family life out. I'm going to teach my children to be accountable, to know that no, sometimes you'll be told no, and get over it, because guess what? Rejection also also produces strong, resilient, like, children. You know, you're kind of like, okay, whatever, no is no. Also, these are the same people who are like, consent and no is no. It's a whole soup, you know. It's, yeah.
He's got a lot of shame from his past. He's got a lot of stuff that happened when he was a kid that...
Don't care. Here's why. Me too. And my wife doesn't have to carry that.
The Dr. John Deloney show, the amount of stories he has, the people that call in, you can gain experience from this as well. I love that he holds his callers accountable. Like, I love that about him. It's good. We should promote accountability. Whatever parenting style you pick, you have to have a balance and be moderate. And I feel like that would help you. And not overcomplicating things that really don't need to be, and holding your child accountable.
Didn't realize that tights are not pants.
Don't attach yourself or have the mentality of this is one thing I'm supposed to be really good at, because you will set yourself for failure if you go into anything with this type of mentality. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell so you don't miss what I post.